Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Olateju Akintayo. Today we have a special guest. She's been here before, and we had some meaningful conversations. We talked about early childhood. We talked about raising kids in diaspora, and it was really educative. It was a really great session we had. So if you've not seen that session, you need to go back and then just look at all our sessions. Yeah, you'll find it there. So today we'll be talking about something very interesting, talking about motherhood. And to help us with this conversation is our guest for today. Is no other person than our early childhood education expert, Deborah Ajebori. She's here. Woo! You are welcome. You're welcome, and you're welcome again. Wow. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Again. Yeah, thank you for coming again, and thank you for doing this. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm happy. It's a new month.
Yeah, happy new month to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say happy new month to our viewers, but by the time they are seeing this, it's probably the month. Yeah, so how is school? How is grad school going and all that stuff?
Grad school is going fine. Beautiful. Challenges. But then we are overcoming.
Yeah.
Life is not a shade of black and white, so there's always going to be ups and downs, but you have to stay resilient, stay focused, and then you're going to win.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. Yep. So today we're talking about motherhood, and motherhood is vast, because motherhood entails not just the mom, it entails the child, entails the mom, the child, the father, like the surrounding, because motherhood affects your well-being as a person, and that involves your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with the child, your relationship with maybe at work. So let's just say, we're going to be talking about the mental health of the child, of the woman herself. We're going to talk about also the child that the mother is raising. So we're going to also touch upon the father and the relationships around her. So now this discussion we're having is not just for people who are moms. This is also for intending moms. It's also for fathers. So it means that if you have somebody around, you have a mom, you have a sister who is a mom, you intend to be a mom, you are a man who intends to get married and who wants, you have a children, or you have a sister who is a mom. So this is for you. So this is actually for everybody. Some people think, some people question if it's a big deal. Yes, it is a big deal. What you don't know is a big deal. What you cannot explain is a big deal. So this is for everybody, and this session is going to be really enlightening. So we're going to talk about early childhood development of a child, and we're going to be delving into mental health. We're going to be talking about all of that cool stuff today. So thank you for coming again, and thank you, because we're also going to be having this discussion from an expertise worldview. Yeah, so we're not just talking about some experiences, because we have different experiences when it comes to motherhood. Your experience might not be my experience. Experiences differ. Now put 10 moms in a room and they have different differing experiences. That's why sometimes I've noticed that I cannot really teach you how to train your child, because our experiences differ. The things I'm dealing with in life differs from yours and all that. So now we just want to come. So that's why we want to explain the art, the science of motherhood. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Preach on, mama.
Okay. So let's start with early childhood. Early childhood. So do you think the field of early childhood is emerging? Because let's say in the last 5 years, last 10 years, it wasn't as prominent. I don't know if it is still very prominent now. Do you think the early childhood itself is undervalued in the world today?
Okay. When I got to class for the first time, this was one thing that we were exposed to. So seeing this particular line, I was just like, wow, interesting. What a good way to start. So our lecturer came to class and said, the field of child development is emerging, and the science of child development started just like 50 years ago or like 100 years ago. So it's just like an emerging field that people don't really like pay attention to. But out of curiosity, some researchers begin to say, oh, let me see what this entails. And there's this particular series on Netflix. The title is Babies. You can watch it to just have more insight onto the field of early childhood generally. And I used to have a colleague. He's in another specialty aside mine, but we are in the same department. And he do laugh at us and said, "Why will you people be studying babies? Why will you be studying children? Like, could make sense. Does not make sense." Then I laugh and said, some people study cats, they study plants, so why can't we study babies? So I agree that it's an emerging field, and it always brings different reactions, because people have, why do you want to tell me how to train my children? Why do you want to tell me? But then we really need to, if we want to see a society that works. So I think it's an emerging field, and people are beginning to see the kind of value that it brings. Like, the result speaks louder. So I think it is.
Okay, thank you. So let's go. So can you just share with us briefly? You know, I think we talked about some of these things, but we can't separate them, because we're talking about the child, we're talking about the mom. So we're talking about early childhood, which is your field, of course. Can you tell us about what happens in the brain of a child in the first 5 years? Some of the things that happens in the first 5 years of a child's life, and why this period is so significant.
Yeah, okay. A lot of things happen in the brain of a child, and for every seconds, there's like 1 million neural connections that is going on in a child's brain. And that's why in early childhood, we say that the way you interact with a child, the way you communicate with a child, the way you make a child feel goes a long way towards helping them stay sane, towards helping them make meaning of the word. So for brain development, we need to really like allow a child to explore. For instance, I will share that when we see a child will always want to test waters. Like, if you have a cardboard here, they know it's a cardboard, but they want to see, is it as strong as the wall? And they want to know, if I push this cardboard, will it fall? Or why is this cardboard falling? Why, whereas I push the wall and the wall is not like maybe falling apart. So a child's brain, there's a lot of connection, a lot of things that is ongoing, and this connection that is ongoing is what makes them have good meaning to the world, is what makes them see the world in different views, because their brain is saying 1,000,001 things, and they want to explore that 1,000,001 things. So that's why sometimes you see some kids just behave and you're like, oh, this child is very stubborn. No, it's just the way their brain, like when they think about it, they just want to also explore it. They want to practicalize it. So that's why they are not like us, that we can see what our brain is bringing. But when when the thing comes, they're like, oh, okay, and they test the water. So I think that's what I would say we expected that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now let's talk about the mother. Let's talk about let's start delving into the mental health of the mother. How does a mother's mental health affect a child's early development, or does it affect a child's early development at all?
Yes, it does affect, because if the mother is not healthy mentally, then the output that she gives to the child will be like minimal, zero, or not of good quality, which in turn affects the child. For instance, a mom that is into drugs, alcohol, or a mom that is experiencing anxiety, a mom that is experiencing fear, that has conflict, a mom that is experiencing violence, now taking care of a child, it's the kind of output that she gives to that child will not be the best, and it will create a kind of dysfunctionality in the child, even though we feel like they are just children, they don't know anything yet, they know a lot. Like, the early foundation of life is what they carry forward into their adult life. So the mom's mental health is as important as also to the child's well-being. So if the mom's mental health is tampered with, then the child will also have a kind of dismissive behavior, while growing up. So I think as much as we know that motherhood can be all shades of beauty, bliss, confronting, challenging, we should prioritize mother's mental health, not just because of the mom alone, but also because of the child. So I think
No, thank you very much for that. And also, well, maybe for me, I kind of feel like mental health is also emerging now. It's just becoming a thing. Well, I would say that there had been mental health issues, but it's just coming to fore recently, and now everywhere it's like mental health, mental health, mental health. So how does a woman might be having mental health issues and she doesn't really think she's having mental health issues? You get? So how does how does a mother recognize those patterns in her own life? Because of course, if she'll be able to really attend to the needs of a child, of a growing child, how does she, or maybe people around her, or actually how do they really see that signal, that problem, that need for attention in the mom?
Okay, I want to say that mental health is a big thing in the West, and it's emerging back home. And for us currently in the West, and for people in the West, signs of mental health is something that they've trained them to like pick up as early as even when the mother is not even knowing that she's going through some mental health crisis. So that being said, I would say that there are different examples of mental health that you see in a woman, from a feeling of regret, a feeling of inadequacy, a feeling of sadness, a feeling of guilt, just out of the blues. Like this moment you are happy, and all of a sudden you are feeling down, you are feeling of harming yourself, you are feeling of harming your child, the feeling of loneliness. Like there are different parameters that we can use to be able to say, oh, this person is experiencing mental health crisis. I remember when I had my child, and so there's this questionnaire, I don't know if you got it, and they will say, oh, we just want to test for mental health. Like I'm not saying, but just tell us on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? On a scale of 1 to this and that, and they get the result. Then they look at the benchmark. Maybe it's if you're having like 40 over 100 from that questionnaire, then it will be. I'm just citing an instance. They may say, oh, this person is experiencing mental health. So it depends on some questions. Like there's a standardized scale that has been built, and so that's how they're able to say, oh, this is a mental health crisis. And one thing I like with us here in the West is that people are very sincere with survey questions. Survey questions, and I might be generalizing that, but let me say we have like, let's say 70% of, let's say, sincerity in survey questions than back home. Because back home we say, are you experiencing homelessness? Even if you're experiencing it, people want to be like, no, like we just want to shield ourselves. Are you experiencing, is your husband violent with you? Even when you're experiencing violence, you want to say no, just to shield, like this culture of cover me up and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just something people want to talk about what they are feeling. And I want to share a personal example. I was going to participate in a study, and they were like, it's on violence, and they were like, oh, for this study it was going to be a video interview, so we want only you to be at home. I said okay, and luckily my spouse was home that day, so they asked me, is anyone at home with you? I said yes, like my spouse, and they were like, I'm sorry, we can't do this today, it have to be only you at home. I'm like, it's my spouse, nothing will happen. They said no, like I said okay, and we had to reschedule. So
Wow.
yeah, because so when we had the interview and they were asking some question, I was like, oh, I got it. But then I'm not experiencing any of this, but I get that sometimes they want you to feel safe as much as possible. So I think there are different parameters that we can use to check mental health crisis. It's not limited to what I've said, but those are just some kind of questions that they ask us. So I think I would say that. And bombcast, there's what we call infant mental health. Yeah.
What?
There is infant mental health.
Okay, about infants, we're talking about ages what?
It's 0 to 5. There's infant mental health. In fact, I did a course recently, like this first spring semester, and that was what we talked about. So, but then that is story for another day. Yeah.
No, it's not sorry for another day.
So infant mental health, yeah, there's infant mental health, and it's just like it's similar to what we are talking about, how the mother to child relationship. So if as a mom you are experiencing mental health, the child also carries it forward. Like there is this bi-directional relationship between the mom and the child, and it makes the basis of their early childhood. For instance, an autistic kid that is experiencing ADHD, if all of these symptoms are not well managed, then it turns to affect the psychological socials of that child. So that child begins to feel like inadequate, throw tantrums, and people will begin to label that child, like say, oh, is very stubborn, this child is this. Like you see people label this stuff, not knowing that the child is experiencing infant mental health. The same way as a mom, you are anxious, you are fearful, you feel lonely. It's the same thing that is happening in the neural connections of the brain of that child. So these are what makes up infant mental health, and we also see it in their academic outcomes too. Like you feel like, oh, this child should have been maybe knowing one or two things, and the child is just far behind, and you are seeing it like, oh, it's just normal. But we have, before we generalize that, we'll do some screenings, take away any medical diagnosis. Then if the pediatrician satisfies the child fit medically, then we now begin to do what we say infant mental health consultation. So to be able to say, oh, what is this child going through? Is it this? Is it that? So, but then it's a very broad topic, like very, very broad. But then I enjoyed it, and I think we need to talk more about these things to really make more meaning to what a child feels. So there is infant mental health, and it's not really that bad, but then I think the awareness also is a very good thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So it tells us what to watch out for in a child, and in the mom. Mm-hmm. And then talking about disclosure, how in the West, I got the questionnaire as well. Wow. And then, and during your child's even check-up, they still give you those sheets, and then always wanting to know that the mom is fine because of postpartum depression and things like that. They just really want to. They really, really want to know. So, but back home in Africa, in Nigeria, I don't know. I'm sure things are changing and all that. And, isn't it amazing the difference here and there? Because there you just want to disclose, you want to keep things to yourself, but here, before you even have your child, everybody knows the gender of the child. Is he a baby boy or a baby girl? Like they ask you exactly when are you due and all that. It was.
Can I touch your tummy? Do you have a name for the baby?
Right, they want to know all of that. I think that's something that's the only thing I kept. The name was the only thing I kept. Apart from filling the form.
I told them when I had my first child, I just said, if it's a boy, it's my husband's name. If it's a girl, it's my name.
Okay.
But I knew it was a boy. And I knew that was going to be the name. Okay. So, but I knew it was a boy, but I was hiding the gender. Okay. Sorry, if you are listening, I knew I was hiding it, but I knew the gender.
It's your baby.
Yeah. I was just being Nigerian.
Nigerian, exactly. Me, they knew.
Because that was a shock. Like I just came and all of a sudden, are you having a boy again? Yeah. Excuse me. I'm having a child.
When are you due? Yeah. If you don't know, it's an abomination. Where we come from, like it's not. You don't.
It's sacrilege.
Yes,
it's privacy.
It's privacy. You don't invade such privacy. That's a different culture. But then now we are getting integrated into the culture, and we see that it's not really a big deal.
Even me, I'm asking people now: is he a boy or a girl?
Same here.
I'm like, oh.
Same here. Some of my clients recently, they told me they're having another baby. I was happy for them. Oh, do you know what you're having? It's so right now we are asking. So if we mistakenly ask you, our friends back home, and they see a boy and girl,
it's not our fault, so it's the
Please,
system.
yes, it's the system. Like everybody knows. I mean, I had a baby shower before my baby was born, and of course, everybody knows what the baby is. And then that would also help them determine the kind of gifts they get you, because you get most of your gifts during your baby shower, if you will have a baby shower, not like a traditional naming ceremony, which is not the case here in the West. So of course they know all of those things. Talking about opening up, so it's easier to really detect things like that, the mental health, a healthy mental health here, as opposed to in a culture where they withhold things, you want to hide things, you feel like, yes, you hide everything, you're going through abuse, you're not okay, you are confused and all of those things, and you're not seeking help. That makes it really, really difficult. But I'm sure that things are changing and things would change. So my next question is, what does a healthy relationship look like between a mom and a child in the first few years of the child's life?
A healthy relationship for me does not have to be perfect. That's the first thing. It just have to be a relationship that the mom is present, and to the best of her knowledge, she can provide food, shelter, clothing, warmth, and care to the child. So I think that should be like an healthy relationship. So why I would say that, like I said, it's not a perfect relationship, because when we say it's a perfect relationship, then we may be telling ourselves a lie. One of my classes last semester, we were talking about a theory. Oh, I can't remember. But in that theory, in that journal, we read about good mother syndrome, some sort of like that. I can't remember. Maybe when I remember, she can put it in the YouTube link to just make you read it. So they brought out 4 different moms. So one mom was feeding her child with fries, another mom's with chocolate, another mom's with vegetable, and another mom with soda. So they asked us to choose who is the best mom. And, typically, even when someone like me, I do the 4 of them. But I'm not really a fan of soda. Like, I cut down soda for my kids. So, but, we want to now, like, it's not an exam, but we want to perform. And people were like, oh, vegetables is the best. And people were like, I think the chocolate. And people were like, I think the fries. And people were like, oh, soda, a little bit of sugar is not bad. And, people will have different opinions about that. And I'm trying to remember the theory now. I can't remember. Oh, that's so bad of me. And we concluded that the four of them are good. Then a colleague made a comment, and that stayed with me. She said, for me, it depends on the time of the day the child is having any of this meal.
Wow.
So, which is true. You might have had your vegetables, and maybe we just said, oh, let's just have fries for maybe snacks. Or you just say, oh, it's been a long time we had chocolate. Can I just give my child chocolate? But then you are just entering someone's house and you just see a child on chocolate and you're already making 1001 nutritional. I'm not a nutritionist, but I'm just trying to say that the concept of healthy relationship between a child and a mom and a child is not a perfect fit. It's just a mom who is there for the child, who can provide shelter, clothing, food, and shield, like being there, warmth, love. That's like what we call an healthy relationship. So when it comes to food too, sometimes you see moms starve themselves of meals and the only thing they have, they give. So you should not come to that mom and say, oh, this thing you are giving your child is bad. Like the woman maybe that's just the little that she have. So it's out of love that she's also sharing that thing. So I think it's not like a perfect relationship, but a relationship where you are there for your child and things like that. So,
thank you so much for sharing that. That's profound.
Yeah.
That a perfect relationship, a perfect mother-child relationship, a healthy mother-child relationship is not perfect. It's not perfect. It's not the one that ticks all the boxes, according to you, because there are still some underlying issues that you do not understand. But a healthy mother-child relationship is one where the mom is present. She's available to cater to the needs as much as she can, to the needs of the child, the physical needs, the feeding, the social, emotional needs, as much as possible. Wow, so that's really profound. That's really profound, because sometimes we see things on the outside and we jump to conclusions, but that's not necessarily the case. So now that leads us to our next question: how common do you think postpartum depression is, and how does it affect early childhood development if not addressed?
Yeah. Postpartum depression is real. Yeah. And it happens to the best of us. And I think it just depends on the level. Like, some might be mild, some might be lower, some might be high. But it's something that happens, and I'm glad that in both sides of our world, people are talking about it. There's this awareness. And one thing sometimes I ask my spouse is that you see a lot of emerging issues now. Like, now as a mom, I feel like there are some things that our mom never even talked about, and they experience it. But then I ask my spouse, like, is it that these people did not experience this thing, or they just had this culture of silence and they just like experience it quietly, and then we in this our generation, like, we just like, hey, see me, oh, like, you see the way we talk about it, we catch cruise with it and things like that. So postpartum depression is very real. People experience it. I think I experienced it also briefly with my, I experienced it briefly, but not like on the eye radar. Like, you feel overwhelmed. Like, imagine someone not sleeping, like you are feeding the child every 1 hour 15 minutes, and you are just tired, exhausted. You don't even have like people around you in the midnight, and sometimes you look at the child and you're like, like, you feel this anxiety, you feel this fear. Sometimes you feel like, can't someone just take this child away from me? I want to sleep. It's not because you don't love your child, but it's just because of the stress that has occurred in the past, let's say 8 hours in the night and things like that. So lack of sleep can trigger postpartum blues. Lack of food, different things can trigger it. It's just like, but knowing when the triggers are way beyond normal, then you seek help. For instance, when I feel so overwhelmed with lack of sleep, I can just tell my spouse, oh babe, can you just take this child away? And they're like, when he cries, what should I do? My brother, either you pacify the child or do anything, just find something. And for that 3 hours, I sleep and I feel much better. So I think but sometimes we want women to show power. Like, I did not experience postpartum blues. Like, you want us to not talk about it. You want us to show that we are strong. Like, I did. And that's just an example that I made. Like, oh, it's crazy. Like, but then it's trying to also get help. Because most women, it's because they didn't even have help that these things escalate to maybe mental health issues. But when you have the help and you can say, oh, this is how I'm feeling, I feel overwhelmed, I feel anxious, I feel this, I feel that, then the support will come. Then they help you lesser that stress. But I will keep saying it is real, it happens even to the best of us, even to some of us that even have full support. So it's just that we need to make, like, as a man, we are listening to this, I will also say, don't dismiss any of your wife's feeling or expression in motherhood, in pregnancy, in taking care of a child. Like, these things are real. If you bring 10 women, 1,000 women, I'm very sure that 900 of the women will say yes to postpartum depression. But the scale may now differ. If they say on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you feel it? We will now have 3 over 10, 4 over 10, 10 over 10, depending on. But I'm very sure, like, let's say 90% of women will say yes, depending on the differences in what it is. So it is real. And that is when we need you guys to step in, to be there, send comfort, send assuring words, and things like that.
You actually answered my next question, because I was gonna ask you to say something to men who would compare their wives with their mothers and say, what is it? My mother had 10 children and she was jumping everywhere, and she was vibrant, and she was full of life, she was full of energy. So why you just had just one, and why does it look like your world is crushing down, and things like that. And then so just also going back to what you said about you asking your husband that our mothers experienced this. I think I'm looking at our traditional setting. Women have been trained to shoulder things, to carry the weight of almost everything, the weight of the home, the weight of life and everything. So the strong woman is described as that woman that does not complain.
Yeah.
That takes everything. So the woman begins to die under the pressure of the weight that she is carrying.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that. So we've described those things as strength, like strength. So they are strong and they are still there. They are still jumping up. They are still catering for you as the man. They are everywhere and all that. So we've seen that as strength, but these days, I think the narrative is changing.
Yeah.
That's unnecessarily. Strength is not that you are able to do what you think somebody else is not doing. In that sense.
Yeah.
When you see somebody doing something and you're like, why this person is doing this, I'm not doing this. That person is stronger than me. Think again. Yeah, we need to really think again and really define what strength is. I think being vulnerable is a sign of strength. Yes, because not being vulnerable might be a sign of weakness on your part, because there's something you are shielding. Yeah, you feel like you have a secret to hide. You have something to hide, yes, that you don't want exposed. So that means there's a false view of you that is out there, that you want to keep that way. There's something you want to keep, people from seeing. But some people would come and then say, okay, this is it, this is what I'm experiencing, and I am fine. They are able to even talk about it freely, and I respect such people a whole lot. I respect them a whole lot. Yeah. So postpartum depression is real.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm beginning to change my mindset about a whole lot of things. In my last video, would that be the last video? No, my video on grief. I was talking about therapy. I used to think that therapy was nonsense. I used to feel like nobody needs therapy. Like what's therapy? If you are praying very well, you are in tune with the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, why would you go why you don't need therapy? Well, you can't sit down with a man, you say you're having mental health issues. What kind of nonsense is that? And things like that. So I used to think that way until Granny passed away.
Oh, you saw a therapist?
Yeah, I almost saw a therapist. Like I was in talks with the therapist. Like I almost saw the therapist. Maybe I didn't, due to the weight of the things I was doing and all that, and making time. I almost saw. We already discussed the cost and everything. Like I almost, because I stopped working. I lost interest in everything. My friend was like, friend, go and see a therapist. At that point. Yeah. So it was overwhelming. So I don't know if we get to that point in our lives when we feel like the weight, the world is coming down, crushing on our shoulders. So like that. So things like therapy, postpartum depression, like they are really, 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 really real. Yeah. So how does postpartum depression, how does it affect the relationship between the child and the mom?
Yeah, like I was still linking back to what I said earlier. Like if your child is not, if you as a mom, you are not old, you are not healthy, you can't cater for the child. And some women experience postpartum depression in a way that some of them say that they want to throw away their child. Like some of them will say, I stood on the balcony of my house and I wish I could just fling the child away. And I'm like, oh, I understand. Like, so, it's like a lot of things, especially.
Someone says that, call 911 if you are, because call them immediately.
Yeah, when you look at people like that, there may be different factors that is playing in their head. Maybe they're experiencing homelessness. Maybe they're experiencing lack of food. Like different things. They are in debt. They are living in shelter home. Like, so that's why, like I said initially in my earlier conversation here, that sometimes you first rule out medical conditions before you now come to say, oh, okay, let me come and see the element of mental health issues here. So if like it affects the kids a lot, because you may, especially when you're having a child that maybe the child was unplanned, sort of. Maybe you already had your life figured out, and all of a sudden the pregnancy came and you had to keep the baby, and in the end you just feel like, I've made a mistake. I should have just maybe terminated. I'm not in support of abortion, but you see people say, oh, maybe I should have done this, and they put this hatred to the child. And even when the child grows up, you see them still label that child based on the experience that happened when they conceived the baby. So it affects, and that's why that's why we as researchers are against maybe teenage pregnancy, because it's the teenager is still like, the brain is still young, so the child may put a kind of stop or hold to the life, and the teenager now begins to see the child as like a problem, and it escalates, and the child is not maybe cared for. They can go and dump the child with one grandma, and the child's life trajectory begins to just take a different shape, whereas the child himself is not it's not your problem. It was you that went to take the forbidden fruit, and now you are now blaming the child and things like that. And the innocent child now bears the weight of your own bad decisions. So it's a very, very pathetic thing if care is not taken, and that's why they prioritize the mental health. I remember when I had my first child, they were like, "Are you sure you are able to take care of the child?" Yes, they said, if you are not sure you can take care of the child, we have people that will take care of the child. We just have to do some documentation. I'm like,
what kind of
like?
Why did it?
I think it's a normal question that they.
No, I was not asked,
maybe it's we use different clinics. Okay. So I think it's my clinic was my clinic is a government. Yours is private. So,
like
they came for when I had my first child. When they were asking, I'm like, is it because I'm new? Like I was asking my mind. I'm like, I can take care of my child. I know they should give me the child. Like in fact, that time I was like, no, which child? Like I was feeling the form with anger of no. So when I had my second child, I was already in school, and I was like, okay, it's expected. So when they came to ask, I knew that it was just concerns. So like they have these like foster homes where people are ready to take
like guardianship,
infants, and like they feel like for instance, if you say you are a smoker, they'll feel like, oh, you might not. This secondary smoke may affect the child, so they want to shield the babies as much as possible. So.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. And there's also something called guardianship.
Yeah.
Like, so where somebody else would help you take care of your child until you are ready and you are able to take care of the child. Yeah. That's really, 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 really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay, so what are the things we can identify? How can we identify a child that I don't want to say an unhealthy child, kind of like okay, for a mom now struggling with all of these things now, like, and probably relatives and friends, what can they see in the child? What are the things to really watch out for in a child that should cause us to ask questions?
Okay.
Do we have specifics?
We have specifics, but the specifics is not well proven for under 1 year old.
Okay.
Let's say it's not well proven for 0 to 6 months. Okay. But from 6 months to 1 year old, we have some specifics.
Okay.
But then above 1 year of age, then we can say, oh, these are the guidelines, because sometimes some kids do not meet some milestones early in life. But for 6 to 12 months now, it's expected that we see how a child cries signals different meaning. A child that is hungry will cry. The tone of the cry is different. A child that needs a diaper change, the tone of the cry is different. A child that just needs soothing or to be held, the tone of the cry is different. And when a child feels, for instance, if your child is crying profusely and you just abandon the child, the next time the child does cry and you abandon that child, the third time the child begins to say like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not loved here. They may not talk, but it's like a recurring experience, and the child begins to even get withdrawn. We see children get withdrawn even from their parents, because they just feel like, I think I'm not safe with this person. So when you begin to see a child getting withdrawn with their caregivers, I can't be your mom, I can't be your dad, and all of a sudden the child is getting withdrawn like almost all the time, is a sign of like neglect. So even as little as their brain is still developing, just like I said that there is 1 million connections going on in their brain, when a child sees neglect, they know, even as an infant, they know, like they experience it. They have feelings. So neglect is one way you know that when you neglect a child, the child is beginning to feel like there are signs of infant mental health disruptions that you see in a child, and you notice through their cries. Then sometimes we also categorize blabbing, like, or cooing, like mommy. Like when a child, some of these things are not met, maybe from 6 months, then it begins to get a kind of concerns. And I think traditionally, while I was growing up back home, and maybe a child is talking, it's just like where I grew up from, and maybe you try to shut a child, like, don't talk. They say, no, don't say that. If you say that to a child, the child will think they don't talk in life. Like they say it in Yoruba. So as much as possible, you don't shut a child when talking. So when I started this field of child development, then I saw that this thing that you are saying is actually like, so I saw the English, like the application in this part of the world, like as much as possible, talk to a child. When you talk to a child, they learn communication, they learn language, they build vocabularies and things like that. So I think blabbing, cooing, neglect are signs that you should look out for to know if a child is experiencing some of these things.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so how can a mom prioritize her mental health without feeling like she's neglecting her child?
Self-care.
But self-care, let it just be, self-care is broad. What's that? Like, how can she do that without?
This thing I'm doing here is self-care. I like to talk.
Okay.
I like to show on podcasts.
Okay.
I like to communicate with people. I like to educate. I like to sensitize. If I bring my infant here, are we going to have a good time now?
No, we're not.
So one of the self-care is put the child with the dad, isn't it?
Right.
Come do what makes you feel alive.
Right.
Like,
don't bother about, what if my child is crying?
Yeah. Because self-care is just prioritizing you. And a lot of us have, with motherhood, to be sincere, sometimes motherhood puts a kind of hold on our lives as moms. But it is we, the moms, that would take the bull by the horn, that would say, oh no, I don't want my life to just... It's okay sometimes to take a pause, but then now taking long pause, all in the name of motherhood, all in the name of this, you will lose yourself. Like, I find coming to this podcast like a kind of self-care, like I find it therapeutic, I find it healing, like I find a part of me alive. Because I just feel like, oh, yes, like I have kids, but then my life should not be just around them. Like it should just I should feel alive. So self-care, and in form of this, going on solo dates, so going on solo dinner, like dropping your kid 1 hour with your trusted caregiver or friends should not harm you. Going to the park, like just do something that makes you alive. Journaling, gratitude journals, like there are a lot of ways to just prioritize yourself as a mom without like that you feel alive. I've shared what works for me. There are other things that works for you too. It can be as little as even seeing a movie. Like sometimes I get so overwhelmed with this motherhood thing. It's not an easy thing. Like it's draining. I get so overwhelmed, and the kind of therapy that I might want to like experience and do that moment is just eat chocolate, spray perfume, Netflix, dim the light, cross my leg, and take water. That's another episode of self-care. So your life should not be around diaper changing, 247, breastfeeding. Like, just make yourself alive. Like, do things that make you happy. Like, I know the time is not there, but the little 1 hour that you can get to do it and do it well. Do it without distraction, because sometimes you want to do self-care and you're on your phone, I don't know, and you're on your phone, like you won't get the best of it. But I can do my self-care, like go to the front of my mirror, do self-affirmation, look at my body, say nice things, even demonstrate public speaking. Like it's sometimes my baby may be sleeping in the room and I'm just there, just making myself happy, dance in front of my mirror, like just so those are also ways to make yourself happy, even in the midst of the motherhood the motherhood ghetto that you might be going through. So you don't have to lose yourself. Like, I know it's hard, and it does not cost a dime. Like, sometimes your baby may just be sleeping and you just do some things and make yourself happy. So it's in you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And then this is to so some people don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and you already, like, we shared the same reasons why we do this. It is therapeutic for me.
Yeah, it is
very therapeutic. Like, I love to do it. It is therapeutic. Like, it's a step away from
from going meant.
Yeah. So this is actually really very therapeutic. So it's not to chase cloud, because if you've been listening to the things we're talking about, they are lessons to learn. These are life lessons. So we're not chasing clouds. We are not babies. Okay, so this is therapeutic. And then, okay, adding to what she said again, we hear these things, but we don't really want to come to terms with it. We don't want to say it. We don't want to believe it. But if anything happens to you, life goes on. And then
it will not pause.
It will not pause.
It
will not pause. It will not. Life goes. As a mom, you feel like, oh, it's me. If anything happens to you, life goes on. So we pray for long life and good health. So, and one of the things we are advocating for is that the mother takes care of herself. You have to be fine to be able to raise a fine child. Yeah, so just look at it this way. You're trying to take care of yourself so that you'll be able to take care of your child. I'm talking about that self-care. I don't know why I've been procrastinating. I want to do self-care.
I
want to do self-care.
I'm going for one recently. Now.
Yeah. I want to do self-care. Like, I really want to start prioritizing self-care. Like, yes, from the inside and then even on the outside. I want to step up. I want to step up. I want to we need
self-care even can be as little as making a new hair. Yeah, traveling.
Yeah, traveling,
changing your
hair.
Skincare routine.
Right.
Like,
you could be changing your wardrobe.
And
just feeling good about yourself.
Decluttering is self-care. Yeah, so it does not have to be expensive. Like, really, really expensive. Like, I am going on one of my biggest expensive trip, and I looked at it. When I was looking at the cost, I was like, is it even worth it? I was beginning to convert and look at it, but then I said, no, I think it's worth it. I need this break. So it doesn't have to be expensive, and when it's expensive, please take it with your full chest. Like, take it with your full chest. I deserve it. You really, really deserve it. And our health is really, really important. God forbid, if we fall sick, the hospital bills will come and we will pay for it. Even if it will be
and
spread.
Then your child will then...
Even if they will spread the bills,
like
you will
where we're
pay
at.
for it, and it is you that will be in pain. So even if it's a self-care of $100, please do it. If it's just as little as having a night in an hotel room, like you and your spouse, is also another means of self-care. Like, not seeing your bedroom, just having another view. Like, it's also self-care. It doesn't bite, in J. Mike's voice.
So as much as you're caring for your child, care for yourself as well. You need to be healthy to raise a health. If you are not healthy, if you're on the hospital bed, then how would you be able to really, to really cater to the needs of the child at that point? So, and I kind of feel like all of these things are things that we can even start cultivating even before you get married.
Yeah.
Even before marriage, like, you can prepare for motherhood before the child comes, before marriage. Like, prioritize yourself in the midst of the chaos in the world and the pressures of work and all that. Always make out time to, don't say, oh, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I have to work. My dear, life is not slowing down. There'll be more work, especially when you're married and then you have other responsibilities. Then at that point, you have to juggle several other things together. So learn now as a young person. When I'm not talking to the lazy one, so that all you want to like, all you want to do, you don't really even want to work at all. You're not doing anything. I don't want to say productive in that sense. And all you just want to do is just flenjo away. So any little thing, mental health, mental health, and you don't have anybody to cater for except yourself. You're not serving. The way this wave of mental health, especially in my beloved country, Like all this must be my mental health. Not like
I was telling someone recently that if we can survive these issues here, I'm not sure like what we are going through at this phase, if we can survive it last time, there's nothing mental health gather than us. Yeah. I'm just like some people are just going to one small thing like this, mental health. You don't know the meaning of mental health. If you know the meaning of mental health, like mental health with, that somebody will say there's adulthood, there's adulthood with family, there's adulthood being a mom, being a wife and everything. Like it's a whole lot. So now that we are single, enjoy the life. When you get married, you adjust into it. So mental health.
yes, mental health. Well, I have something I want to talk about mental health, but there was a question that came to my mind that I quickly typed on my phone so I don't forget. Okay. It's about motherhood and career. It's about motherhood and career. So I posted something on LinkedIn. I think it should be sometimes last year. Like when do you think is okay? I've forgotten how I really asked the question, but the question is like, when do you think? Please, how do I even, like, how do you balance motherhood and career? Now, some people pause motherhood for career. Some people pause career for motherhood. Some people juggle it together. Do you think there's a best time to actually juggle motherhood and career?
In the word of a wise woman, balance is a mirage. Like in this motherhood and career thing, there's nothing like balance. So she mentioned that's Barrister Jayola Adepeju Jayola. So she said motherhood and career is like a pendulum bob, like it's juggling. So if you are in your motherhood, like you're a career person, maybe you work in the office. When you are in your office, you are at your best. Like you are giving your best at that time, but your motherhood part of life is on a pause at that point. For instance, if you do a 9 to 5, you're at work, and when you get home, let's say 6, that's when you resume back to being a mother. Then your 9 to 5, you give in your best. You know that, this time I have to give the best to my work and everything. Then when you get home, then you resume back to being a mom. So one have to pause for the other. That's at some point. That's if you are doing motherhood and career. Then some people take a pause, perfectly fine. Like we are all in different stages of life, and there are different things that goes on. So one thing I don't want to do is say this is the best option or this is the bad option. But even for us that combine both of them together, at one point during the day, one is more prioritized than the other, and that is just the truth. Like there's no perfection. For some of us, our kid had to go to daycare. So, and for some people that take their motherhood over career, they have to be homeschooled. So there are different nexus to this, like different approach to this. But what I would just say is that while there are different approaches, there are different fit for different people, just know what you are doing. Like let your why be strong. When your why is strong on why I'm doing motherhood and career or why I am taking a pause, that goes a long way to also build you courage, a long way to make you sane. Because if your why is not strong, then you begin to compare. You look at yourself and say, but this is XYZ. And this is also to spouses too. Like, don't look at your wife. Don't compare her with another woman. If another woman is making 10 millions, resume back to work maybe after 3 months, and your wife is still saying, I'm not sure I'm ready, just respect her decisions. She's the one that knows what is going on in her body, what's going on in her head or anything. So just know where you fit in and do it well. avoid comparison at that point. It is not easy for any one of us. The person staying at home is also doing a good job, doing an other job even compared to us. Because if you babysit a child for 24 hours, 24 hours, no, like we almost meant, like tomorrow now we have holiday. Like I'm already thinking of like, because one is dragging your head, one is dragging your leg, and you can't even, like, you know that self-care tomorrow is zero. Because tomorrow you have to look homeless to get the best for yourself. So what I'm saying is, motherhood and career, is it possible? Yes, but then in the possibility there will be a kind of imbalance. One will be prioritized than the other. Maybe during the day one comes first, and at night there is a switch. So either you are here or you are there. Just ensure that your why is very strong, and that would reduce comparison. Because that's another thing we say, you are comparing yourself to someone who has gone 10 miles ahead of you. Why not just stay in your lane and make peace with your decision instead of comparing? So that's what I would say about the motherhood and career. It's hard, but then choose your hard. Yeah.
Motherhood and career. It's hard, but choose your hard.
Yeah.
So there is no hard and fast route to it. Like there's no straightforward answer. Like this is better or that is better now.
Just
no, make a decision and then
stay with it.
Yes, stay with it. Choose your hard and all that. Wow, that's really profound. And I like how it is the world is getting enlightened. Men are getting enlightened, because that man goes out there and then he comes back and it feels like you're not doing anything. All you do is stay at home. I make all the money. Well, okay, so there was a show I saw recently. So the guy says that, so he was saying that his wife asked for divorce, and it was like, so the interviewer was asking him, okay, what happened and all that, and then he said, okay, usually he's the one, she's a stay-at-home mom. He provides everything they need financially and all that. How many kids? Maybe, I think he said 3 or 4 kids, and they have like 3 or 4 kids. And he said when he gets home, he just takes his lunch or his dinner. He goes to his room. Oh, why don't you eat at the table? Well, I just need some time for myself. I don't want all this thing and all that. So he mentioned that, and then he was trying to say that she does not do anything. I'm the one that I go out. And the interviewer was like, oh, if home was such fun, why do you take your meal and you go to your bedroom? If it was such fun, if she was having a field day, why do you refuse to sit at the table with your family to eat? Like, that is what she deals with all day long, and you don't do anything at all to help. And then she's asking for attention. She's seeking your attention and maybe your help and all that. But you think like, oh, you're the lazy one. All you do is home. Whereas she takes care of 4 kids. 4. Like in Dabla, 4. 4 kids.
I just want to do it. Shout outs to every stay-at-home mom. You're doing a lot of work. Like, a lot of work. Like, I applaud you. You're doing so well. More than what even myself could do. It's not easy. Like, 24 hours time span with kids, having routines. No, it's a lot of work, and I applaud it. Like, and I know it will pay off. So, keep the good work, and you're doing a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes people don't laud their efforts. They don't praise them enough for the good work that they are doing. They are doing such a good job. It's not fun. It's not flex. They are taking the hard work. I was asking a friend recently of their schedule, being a stay-at-home mom, and I looked at it and was like, oh no, little wonder. You're awake 8 o'clock to so time. They are doing this, they are doing that. You go to park, you do this, no break in between. So you guys are doing a good job. We celebrate you for your resilience, for every of your input towards your kids, and I know it will pay off.
Yeah, an extra shout out to stay-at-home moms. Yeah. They are the real MVPs. They are the real MVPs, because before, I have 2 stay-at-home moms in my circle, and I already spoke to one of them, so we're having one of them on the show. So a while, so I should even check in with her. Okay, but before then, my idea of staying at home mom was, I'm ashamed to even say it.
Was flex, Abby?
It was flex. It was like lazy woman and all that. The kind of structure that these people have, I do not have it.
Yeah.
I do not have it. Okay, so my next question to you, which you personally, it's a personal question. Would you be a stay-at-home mom?
I like my time.
Okay, you want to use your time for investing in your career. You don't want to send everything. Okay.
I like my time.
Okay, I
I can be a stay-at-home mom maybe 2 times in a week. Not 5 times. So maybe Monday and Tuesday, I can be a stay-at-home mom. So I'll go to my shege for that 2 days. Then I'll resume a flexible mom Wednesday to Friday.
I mean, a stay-at-home mom is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's really ghetto.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
When I was yesterday, I was driving. When I was on the highway yesterday, and I was thinking, I was like, see, I'm too lazy to be a stay-at-home mom.
Exactly.
I am too lazy.
Girl.
I am too lazy to be a stay-at-home. I am not a typical stay-at-home mom. I am too lazy to be a stay-at-home. I cannot. So that's why we're giving shout outs to stay-at-home moms.
It's not even cruise. Like this is a sincere appreciation post. A friend is coming to mind. I love you, friend. You're doing well.
Not be smart, not be being. It's like it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Okay, now so we should be wrapping up now on our questions on motherhood. Okay, so my next question. I have a lot of questions, but let's just wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. We've talked about a lot of things. Some of these things that I don't even know, about in the last video we had together in early childhood, talking about the importance of language and communication in early childhood. Our parents should communicate with their parents and their children. The importance of play. You also talked about the importance of play. You talked about screen time again, because we're talking about development, because I think they are intertwined, motherhood and childhood. When your child is developing well, you are also fine. Yeah. Of course, when your child is not feeling well, you are not well as well. And things like that. So, and then we've also talked about mental health. It's just linked. It's just linked together. And I think we should even, we talked about motherhood, we should have fathers. Yeah. We should have very, very we should bring fathers to the fore, because we have some MVPs. And I want to do a special shout out to your husband. We want to really do a special shout out to your husband and
take your flowers.
Yes, take your flowers, because in the midst of recently I've had several posts. Some people think I'm feminist. They think I'm a feminist. I don't even like to. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't know. Well, some people have defined the feminist to me, and maybe some of the things I do, maybe they are feminist. I do not like to associate myself with that word at all. I don't want to associate myself with the word feminist. No, I do not. I just like to just lend my voice to what I feel is right and to my personal experiences, the things I have seen other people experience. So if I'm coming against men, like it looks like I'm coming against men, and there was a Father's Day fracas where people are like, oh, just even if they are not responsible, still wish them. No, we will only wish them a happy Father's Day if they are responsible. Come on, do your worst. So so
mouth sealed.
Better seal it. So things like that, and people are like coming, oh, is he only mother's mother? That's another conversation. We'll be having some of these conversations, most of these conversations earlier on. So in the midst of all of that, when you said that your baby's teacher, like when they saw you for the first, like, oh, so you are the mom, because they have been seeing is
I feel so bad that day.
is who they've been seeing with, and we're talking about a child less than was it less than 6 months at that time.
Yeah.
See how. And we are talking about a newborn, so it was a dad taking the child to daycare. No, your husband does not have his career. He's careerless.
8 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, most times, we have our kids in the same daycare. Is it not recently that we started jamming in the morning? who do you see most times in
He's
the
your
month?
husband, though. He's your husband.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to say, but if he also had, if he also had,
he also prioritized his family.
if he also had an 8 o'clock class, it would. I feel
He
like
will
he would still be
he
the
will
one
be
that
the
would
one
still make the
drop off.
sacrifice.
So I'm a
So
flex
don't steal his flowers, please. Let's give it to
sweetie, honey me.
Yeah, so
Take your
and we need
flowers.
men like that, you know, growing up in a setting where it is the woman that would still have to make the sacrifice, you know. But here is a man that's saying that, okay, don't worry, babe.
That's my
flexing.
biggest flex, like
As in,
having a good spouse.
yeah.
Oh no, it's a flex.
yeah, it is a flex.
And I do
It's a
not take
blessing.
it- I do not
It's a
take it for
blessing.
granted,
It's a
like-
blessing. So shout out to fathers too. Fathers too. We also recognize, you know, the roles of fathers in all of these things. You know, there was this guy on social media that complained that when a woman puts to bed, like people keep people keep checking up on the mother and the child. Like we also go through a lot too, and all that.
I bear sentiment with that guy. Like I agree with that guy's post, but you know, people just they tweak that conversation because when I had my baby, like my husband was just like what the man described, but he was not complaining actually. But like I'll be the one to say, "Oh, babe, have you eaten?" Like you could get like I'm just being empathetic because I know the kind of stress he has gone coming from the lab, and Friday evening he came back from work. I just said, let's go to the clinic, and we just went. He's not even rest too. He's not even eat too. Then his wife put to bed, and then the next morning he's still like, "Are you okay?" And like it's a lot of work mentally for them, and people don't sing that praise a lot. And even when the men try to talk about it, we dismiss it because sometimes we feel like, yeah, we do a good job with the pregnancy, but when you see a good man, we should not dismiss what they feel like. And I think that's also the culture that the boy child face. Like people want them to keep quiet. Like people don't give them their flower right enough. But I'm so glad, just bringing it back to this conversation, that this year's Father's Day was loud enough. Like we see posts, even men keep to celebrate themselves. And I think the better the awareness, the more they also get things right. Like the more these men will feel like, what can I do to make my wife better? What can I do to be a good father in this society? So as much as we have the bad eggs, we also have the good ones, and we should not let the bad one overshadow the good ones, that even to sing the praise of the good ones, we want to bury our heads and try to. So I think men are really doing good job, and we celebrate you guys enough too. So without you, for some of us, motherhood would have been serious ghetto, which I can attest to. So you are right. But that video, I saw it, but I knew people just like, there are different lenses to life, different way we understand things. But I understand basically from the lens of my husband what the guy was talking about. So
yeah, my understanding of that post is also just that it's just trying to say that people check up on the mother and the child, ignoring the father. So it was just like, oh, fathers too and all that. But Ifedayo, she reacted to that, and she was like, she didn't say this, but my thoughts from her reaction to that post was that the majority of the people that give that woman her flowers are fellow women that have gone through that process. So that's why they're trying to shower her with all the care, all the things they feel she needs. So that is why men should also build their own community. Abi, if you've been a fellow father and you see a father,
they are doing it now.
So well, that's good. So let them keep doing it. So the problem is that you want women to still give you.
It doesn't bite. Does it bite if you give them a flower?
Well, if I have only one flower, I will give. If I have only one flower, I give to the woman. So it should not be a bone of contention. I don't want to cut it into two. No, the flower will be ugly. I'm only just one flower. I'm going to give it to her and just say, oh, well done. No. Okay, take it like that. So we are not in competition.
Okay, so that is, please. Then they said that you should also show up more, and so that we can buy 2 flowers, so that we'll not just have one. We'll buy 2 and we'll be able to share. Like, okay, take this, take that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we touched on some of the things when I was going to ask, talking about the strong mother narrative in our communities. I think I find that word, I don't like it anymore. I don't like it anymore. Yeah, strong.
That word would take women to their grave.
I don't want to be a strong woman, please. I want to be.
I think one day I told you that you're a strong woman. You're like, no, don't tell me I'm a strong woman.
I don't want to be a strong woman anymore. But people see it as like it's. People like that thing. It boosts some people's ego. People see like accolades and all. And then if you tell me, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from, and I will really appreciate it. So I would not get mad that you tell me. Or, people tell me that all the time. I mean, well, it's not. I'm like, I beg, Lord Jesus, this is my era for soft life. I want soft life.
This second half of the year.
Second half of the year, soft life.
Good news.
Yes. No, I don't want
those strong guitars.
No, I don't want to use any more.
My shakeases that I'm going through.
No. Yeah. So we talked about the narrative about the strong woman narrative, and yeah. So let's wrap up today. So what final words do you have for us today on the issue of motherhood, on the issue of mental health, early childhood development?
Okay, so one final word for everyone is that motherhood is a blessing, and I see motherhood as you partnering with God to fulfill the promises that He has for us, that we should go into the world, we should multiply, we should have dominion. And it is possible through like family systems, the mother, the father, procreation. So motherhood is good, is a bliss, and is a blessing from God. It comes with its own beautiful sides of life also. But then we should see it as pure blessings. We should see it as also a part of growth, resilience, or a part of necessity that we might pass through in life, rather than dwelling on maybe the negative side or the downside that we might be experiencing. So I would also want to say that in the mental health perspective, if you feel any of this trigger or habits, speak out. There's no award for the culture of silence. The more you speak out, it can be in abuse, it can be in violence, it can be in homelessness, anxiety, or fear. You need to speak out to trusted friends or seek professional help. I think that goes a long way also. Then for the childhood part, when you see a child, like a child does not have to behave like an adult, so you don't expect perfection from a child. Allow a child be a child, and you as an adult, you are only there to mentor a child or to coach or guide a child. So you should not have expectation of an adult from a child. Let the child be. And I think when we integrate all of these three parting words that I have together, the society becomes better. Like families, we have this confidence in what they are doing, and things will get better. So I just want to say, everyone, you have a role to play in the society that we want. So that'll be my.
Thank you so much for sharing. You know, as we're preparing for this this session, so my mind really went to waiting moms.
Yeah.
You know, and I just really want to do a shout out to some people in my circle, and I look at some people and I'm like, this is a mom, this is a mother. You know how. You know, the qualities they even possess. So shout out to people that are waiting, and then we trust God that very soon your miracle is here.
Yes.
And how they are excellent moms to kids around, you know. And I'm like, this person is like, some of us have gone. You know, how they, you know, like, oh no, this is a mother, and this is so. I just really want to say that though motherhood literally it's just the process of having a child, but then also we see mothers in waiting moms, because your miracle is, you know, he's here, and how you also mother other children. So you can be a mother before you even step into those shoes. That's why this is for everyone, waiting moms, you know, you're single, you're not even married yet, and things like that. So these are valuable it's a valuable resource that you can have. So thank you so much if you stayed tuned. Thank you so much for your time. What do you think about motherhood? What's motherhood to you? What do you think about the early childhood phase of a child? What do you think about this emerging issue of mental health? What do you think? Do not forget to comment Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till we see you next time. Thank you so much for being here again. And we hope to really have more of you on our studio.
Yeah.
So till next time. Bye.
Bye.